Commitment 2022 coverage. Voters across the country headed to the polls today. The country's balance of power on the line.
We begin in South Carolina. Voters are deciding who will win the governor's office.
Incumbent Governor Republican Henry McMaster is running against Democratic candidate Joe Cunningham. Our team coverage of the election begins with Jane Robelo, who is live in Columbia tonight with Governor McMaster. Jane.
Well, Carol and Nigel, in about 30 more minutes, they're going to open the doors to the ballroom behind me here at the University of South Carolina Alumni Center. This is where GOP supporters are coming to watch the results come in. And the McMaster-Evitt campaign, I'm told, by South Carolina GOP Chairman Drew McKissick, is feeling very, very confident. They didn't waste any time, though. They campaigned right up until the very last minute. Yesterday, they brought their 7-day, 15-stop bus tour into Greenville, stopping at Stack's Original, touting their message of economic prosperity. The governor talking about the jobs that he's created, how he didn't shut down South Carolina during the pandemic, and how also he has attracted more business to the state than anyone else, and they're ahead of that record. The governor reminding supporters just how special South Carolina is.
We got to realize we're living in paradise. We got the greatest people in the whole world. What we have to be sure to do is that our government allows our people to flourish. So that's what we're going to do. And this is the team that you've put in charge of this part of your lives to be sure that the government is doing the right thing.
And again, the governor really hoping that the message of economic prosperity resounds with voters, especially now as the nation is seeing 40-year inflation high. The economic message just might be the driver. We'll find out in just a few hours from now. We'll be bringing you coverage throughout the night. Live in Columbia, Jane Robelo, WYFF News 4.
Thank you, Jane. McMaster faces former Low Country Congressman Joe Cunningham in the race for governor.
Our team coverage continues with Taggart Houck, who is live in Charleston with the Cunningham campaign. And Tag, there's some optimism out there, right?
Yeah, good evening to you both. Cunningham feels good about this race, but political experts would tell you that it's a bit of an uphill battle, generally speaking, for Democrats. The last Democrat elected governor of South Carolina was Jim Hodges. That was back in the 1990s. We have video of Cunningham voting during that early voting period. And really, he spent the last week touring the state, including parts of the upstate. He's been campaigning on legalizing marijuana, sports betting, and then taxing them to create new revenue streams for teacher pay and better roads. He also says he wants to eliminate the state income tax. He's been saying that he wants to move South Carolina forward, and if elected as part of a bipartisan offer, he says he'd put Republicans in his administration's cabinet. He is expecting a close race.
Well, look, I think it's going to come down to the wire. I expect it to be a late night. We're prepared for that, but we've seen late nights before. You know, we had a really late one back in 2018, and even in 2020 it wasn't. It took a couple days for all the votes to be counted. So I'd suggest everybody buckle in for a late night.
Cunningham previously served one term in Congress representing the Low Country. We expect the party to start here at about 7 o'clock at the American Theater here in Charleston. For now in Charleston, Taggart Houck, WYFF News 4.
Thank you, Tag. Turning to one of the most closely watched statewide races, the Superintendent of Education.
Republican candidate Ellen Weaver faces off against Democratic candidate Lisa Ellis. Gabrielle Komorowski joins us live from Weaver's campaign headquarters in Columbia. Gabby.
Hey, Nigel, this position serves as manager of the State Department of Education. They are in charge of the state's more than 700,000 public school students and more than 50,000 public school teachers. Ellen Weaver says that her experience in business and policy making makes her the best candidate for the job. Weaver worked with former U.S. Senator Jim DeMint, and she is the president and CEO of the Palmetto Promise Institute. That's a conservative group that promotes policy solutions in the state. She has been endorsed by outgoing Superintendent of Education Molly Spearman, and she says the relationships that she has built with leaders in the General Assembly who hold the purse strings will get things accomplished. She shared this message to the state's teachers in a recent interview with WYFF News 4.
My message to teachers across South Carolina is that I hear your voice and I will listen to you. I will incorporate your feedback into everything that we do in Columbia. But at the end of the day, I'm not running to be a classroom teacher. I am running to be the chief executive of a multi-billion-dollar state agency that has over 1,000 employees.
Weaver says she will focus her efforts on staffing every school with a school resource officer, early literacy, and school choice. We will bring you complete coverage throughout the evening. Live in Columbia, Gabrielle Komorowski, WYFF News 4.
Gabby, thank you. And Ellen Weaver faces Lisa Ellis in the race for Superintendent of Education.
Ellis is the leader of grassroots organization SC4Ed and boasts her 22 years of experience teaching in the classroom. Our team coverage continues with Kylie Jones live in Columbia. Kylie.
Well, and Carol, the stage is set here at Lisa Ellis's watch party at the Embassy Suites in Columbia, and Ellis touts she is the only candidate in the race with traditional classroom teaching experience. Ellis says she wants to see that teacher voice at the policy level of the South Carolina public education system. Ellis has stressed the need for more physical, mental, and emotional resources for students in schools, including more individualized attention in the classroom. To do some of those things, Ellis has vowed to dedicate efforts to raising teacher pay more and improving teacher working conditions.
Talk about a teacher shortage. There's not a teacher shortage in South Carolina. There are plenty of teachers who are certified to teach. They're not willing to do the job for the salary or the working conditions. And I've talked with teachers across this state that have left the profession and have told me, hey, if you can guarantee that my class size, my third grade class is not going to be more than 20 students, I'd come back in a heartbeat.
Now, you may have seen Lisa Ellis listed on that ticket twice, once as the Democratic candidate, the second time as the Alliance Party candidate. That's what state election officials call a fusion candidate. They say it's relatively common with any given race or election. Election officials say ultimately all of the votes Ellis receives will be tallied for Ellis, but you'll see them listed separately by party in the results. We'll continue to keep you updated as things get started here in about an hour. For now, live in Columbia, Kylie Jones, WYFF News 4.